market prices have flipped. Unemployment can flip very quickly if businesses really start to struggle, and we're seeing businesses struggle. So it's good news that Liz Truss and I think Rishi Sunak came in afterwards to say he would consider it. But it's good news to see that the government are listening, that they never should have done it in the first place, but we need it reversed.
Yes, there's always room in heaven for a sinner who repenteth, isn't there? Tina, what about the labour market? I mean, we just heard from Alex that he would like to see support for small businesses, making it easy potentially to hire skilled labour. I mean, we know there's this issue with the skilled labour shortages, and it's been exacerbated, if anything, via Brexit. Is there much that you would expect the new PM to do on that front?
Well, definitely there's a few things that could really help the economy and help employers here. Firstly, make it easier to bring in skilled labour from abroad. You know, we have made it much more difficult. It's very bureaucratic. Small businesses certainly can't afford the cost of the visas. So that could definitely be relooked at. I think also looking at the economically inactive, we've over 8 million across the country. Northern Ireland has the highest economically inactive in the UK. There's definitely things we can do, like provide subsidised childcare, get the talented women back to work that want to be back at work, and also look at how we can help those with disabilities get back into the workplace and how we can support them into the workplace as well with more flexible schemes that encourage that. So there's lots we can do in order to get people in this country back to work, but also make it easier to bring in the skills from abroad for people that want to come here and actually work in the country and give to the country. We shouldn't make that difficult at all. We need those skills to grow our economy.
Now, look, it looks very much as though it's going to be Liz Truss. It's a very, very different tone on many policy platforms from Boris Johnson. Yet, on the Northern Ireland Protocol, she seems just as hardline as he was. How concerned are you about that in particular?
Well, at the end of the day, I mean, I've been in meetings with Liz Truss and her advisors for a long time now, and also with the EU. And there's only one thing that's for sure, and that is that unless they get round the table, negotiate and compromise together, we're not going to get a solution. And the longer that this goes on in the way it is for Northern Ireland, as you know, we don't have a government at the moment, and the longer this goes on, it's bad for Northern Ireland, but it's bad for the United Kingdom, because this is going to have an impact on the trade deals and the exporting we can do and the deals we can do around Europe and around the world. So I think whichever person becomes Prime Minister needs to understand that it's all about now execution. We talked about this long enough. Let's get this deal done. Let's move on with getting some good trade organised for the companies in this country, because our exports are down and have been down, and that's really also impacting the economy in what is already a domestically difficult time. So I think if the new Prime Minister, if I was to say anything, was get back around that table and let's get the deal agreed, and let's stop playing party politics with something so important as the protocol.
All right, Tina, got to leave it there. Good to talk to you as ever. Thank you.
Thank you.
Some other business news stories for you now. And wholesale natural gas prices have shot up by more than 30% this morning in both the UK and on continental Europe, after Russia said gas supplies via its main pipeline to Europe would stay shut. Gas deliveries through the Nord Stream 1 pipeline were due to resume on Saturday morning, but Russia said on Friday night that this would not be happening, and it gave no date for them resuming. Well, the price of a therm of natural gas, which was 56 pence at the end of 2020, rose by 33% this morning, and a short while ago was trading at 545 pence. The house builder Countryside Partnerships has agreed to a takeover by its rival Vistry, valuing it at £1.25 billion. Well, the deal comes after Countryside put itself up for sale in June after receiving a number of takeover approaches. The Countryside brand will continue to exist in Vistry alongside the company's other trading names, which include Bovis Homes and Linden Homes. Greg Fitzgerald, the Vistry chief executive, said the deal had a highly compelling strategic rationale. The luxury car maker Aston Martin Lagonda has confirmed this morning it is raising £575.8 million from shareholders in a move that will see Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund become an investor. Well, the fundraising will see Aston Martin's existing leading shareholders, including Chairman Lawrence Stroll's U-Tree consortium and the German car-making giant Mercedes-Benz, putting in more money to maintain their stakes at the present level. The funds raised will be used to pay down some debt and to step up capital expenditure. And drug maker AstraZeneca said this morning that Imfinzi, which is its lung cancer treatment, has been improved by US regulators for the treatment of adult patients with locally advanced or metastatic biliary biliary tract cancer in combination with chemotherapy. Well, BTC is a group of rare and aggressive cancers that occur in the bile ducts and gallbladder. Around 23,000 Americans are diagnosed with the condition each year, of whom between 5 and 15% go on to live for 5 years. As he seeks to frame his political legacy, Boris Johnson last week highlighted the rollout of full fibre broadband. Well, the majority of that has been done by businesses like Openreach, the subsidiary of BT, and Virgin Media, but also by so-called altnet providers such as City Fibre. Well, one such player is Giganet, which claims to reach more than 9 million premises across the country. Today, it's announced the acquisition of the broadband provider Cuckoo. Well, joining me now to talk about this is Jarlath Finnegan. He's the Chief Executive of Giganet, and Alex Fitzgerald, the Chief Executive of Cuckoo. Welcome to you both. Jarlath, we start with you. I mean, you haven't disclosed any numbers here. Give me an idea.
Morning, Ian, and thanks very much for having us on. As you know, with most of these deals, that type of detail remains confidential. So unfortunately, I can't share that with you. But I think what's really important here today in terms of value is the value for the consumer.
Okay. I mean, what's in it for you, this deal?
Well, I think we've been, since our investment last year, 250 million investment, we've been heavily going at it in terms of building a world-class core network and trying to disrupt and change the broadband market in the UK. I think Cuckoo have been doing the same thing, and we have a meeting of minds. And what this does is accelerate us being able to offer really good value for the consumer. And that is, at a time like this, that's really important.
Are you trying to do too much too soon? I mean, not only are you building your own network, but you're also forging direct relationships with customers. I mean, that's a lot of plates to keep spinning.
It is, but we're lucky. We're surrounded by a really strong team, really good investors, and time is of the essence in this industry. We're on track as per our original business plan, and I think the acquisition of Cuckoo just helps us accelerate that in terms of the customer offering. So it's very exciting for us at the moment.
Well, Alex, let me bring you in. Why sell now?
I think ultimately why we did this deal is for the customer and for the consumer. We started in 2020 with the idea that people were being overcharged for their broadband. I snuck into BT's AGM and asked their CEO why they were doing that. And this kind of continues that story. So this means we are focused on the consumer layer. We can bring great prices to many people across the UK and deliver a much greater customer experience thanks to our partnership with Giganet. So I think it was just a meeting of minds both on how to treat customers, but also the ambition for the future.
Are you trading profitably just now?
We've been targeting growth, and we started in 2020, raised our first round of VC funding early last year, and our long-term aim is to grow. So that's where we've been spending most of our time.
So, I mean, the fact that you've now been taken over by Giganet, I mean, does that change your intentions in terms of how you're aiming to seek a profit, or is it just all about growth for you right now?
Not at all. What it actually does is supercharge what we were already planning to do. So we were planning to grow. We always had the idea. We were experts on the consumer layer. So growing a great consumer brand and making sure we treat customers really fairly, but also delivering and building great software. We'll still do that, but now we have a partner who's got the experience on the network side to actually really supercharge us.
You mentioned BT just now. Are they your primary competitor, do you feel? Who else do you sort of lie awake at night worrying about?
I'd like to first focus on the business first. I think it's good to have an eye on others, but the only way we can innovate and the only way we can bring in things like internet in 24 hours, much better technology, is really thinking from first principles. And that's why my co-founders and I, Tommy, Dan, and myself, started in 2020 and trying to, with no telecoms experience, and trying to really bring stuff new into the market that wasn't really being thought about since.
Jarlath, obviously there's a lot of building going on right now. Is there a danger in this country that we're overbuilding to an extent that some cities may have too much choice over the networks that they use?
Well, I think, for the consumer, competition is really healthy. Yes, there's, it's no doubt there's some overbuild going on, but I think what you'll find over the next year to 18 months is you will find some consolidation within the market. And I think that will sort itself out. I think the most important thing here is that the fibre itself, the fibre rollout has really accelerated, and that's only a positive for the country as a whole, Digital UK, but also for the consumer.
Now, I mean, clearly, while there is a situation where we might have overbuild in some locations, I mean, it is still a fact that a lot of rural and out of the way communities are being bypassed.
Yeah, and I think, we have some important news today as well in terms of a new Prime Minister. And I think it's really important that the new Prime Minister keeps broadband on the agenda like Boris did in the previous government. Because that 85% of the country is on target to get fibre or gigabit connectivity by the end of 2025. That target is definitely achievable now. I think that 15% that you speak about in deep rural UK needs to be